Let me say something slightly controversial. If you're exclusively applying for roles on job boards or online, then you're playing the hardest version of the game. And that's not because you're doing anything wrong. On the contrary, because you're playing the game in the most congested format possible. Essentially, you're applying for roles when it's the most crowded, when the job's been advertised and you're in amongst the sea of applicants. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to have conversations with hiring managers or HR professionals in a constructive way so that when it comes to applications, you're already in a head start. The main issues that I have with people exclusively applying for roles is because you're up against a lot of forces. There's hundreds of applicants, as you will have seen on the job boards. You're also being filtered through the applicant tracking system. There's a video already in this channel if you want to find out a little bit more about what an applicant tracking system is and what it does. Essentially, you're one CV in a pile of candidates. So imagine a scenario by which time the hiring manager or HR professional already has a strong understanding of your experience when they come across your application. That changes everything. So the main way to showcase your experience to the hiring managers or HR professionals prior to the application stage is through networking. Now, there's a lot of mystery shrouding networking. Some people say it's just awkward conversations or benign conversations that lead to nowhere. Other people say it's the be all and end all. So what really is the truth about networking, and how can you leverage it to ensure that you get to interview stage, or at least pass through the first stage of any application process? So on this channel with your career toolkit, I aim to give you frameworks so that you can use and leverage this throughout any stage of your recruitment process, but also any stage of your career. So there are 3 steps that I want to talk you through one by one to make sure that your networking experience is maximizing your rate of return when it comes to interview. So the first step is to target the correct people for networking. Now, the best thing to do is going onto LinkedIn and finding someone who is working in the role that you want to be applying for, but also equally they are 1 to 3 years ahead of you in your role search. So if you're looking for an analyst role, maybe reach out to a senior analyst who's recently been through the process of being an analyst and then can also remember how they went through the recruitment process, so it's all very fresh in their minds, and you know that the information that they're sharing to you is very current and relevant for your job search. It also means that they tend to be not as busy as the senior managers or the HR managers, and they have more time to come back to you and give you relevant information. They are also more likely to remember the struggle that they had when applying, so they are more compassionate and more likely to come back to you when you reach out to them with questions or wanting to have coffee with them. The second step that I would say is to give a short, sharp email or LinkedIn message saying, "Hi, I came across your profile and I'm interested in applying for X role, and I would value you sharing this experience as I would love to apply for a similar position within your organization. Have you got some time to chat?" By giving them a really short message, they're more likely to read it, but also there's less pressure for them to refer you or to get into lengthy conversations about the recruitment process, which makes people nervous in responding to your messages. And the third step is to use conversations well. So make sure that you ask thoughtful conversations, whether that's about work-life balance, if that's what's important to you, or things like progression, so that you can apply for companies in which you are going to be promoted, say in 2 to 3 years, if that's what's important to you. Have also discussions with respect to how much mentoring there is, especially in your early careers. It's so important that you have loads of support around you and that you are nurtured. So asking really thoughtful and considered conversations like this, people know that you are maximizing their time and that you aren't messing their time around. So you might be wondering, how does this conversation lead to an interview? A lot of times what I found with candidates that I've worked with is that they are often referred by their own volition. People have been like, well, let me know when you are applying because I'd be happy to refer you. You're also more likely to maximize your opportunities of getting an interview because people are more likely to give you hints and tips and say, when I put in experiences around this and this and this, actually the hiring manager really liked it. So maybe you want to highlight that in your experience because they haven't put it out on the job description. But I know internally these are skills that are lacking that people will be paying extra attention to if you include. Also, you don't know who is involved in the recruitment process. As soon as candidates are getting passed through the application process, people will remember your name, or your name may get mentioned to a hiring manager as someone that stand out, who's gone the extra mile. So always be trying to stand out. And now, as you're applying to similar roles at different organizations, you're not going into the job search blindly. You're understanding the market, you're understanding what key skills people are looking for. So these are all giving you unique selling points that you are able to maximize your CV and your interview process. Some of the common mistakes that I see is that people don't follow up or force a relationship with folks. What people want is a really high touch experience with you, so that they feel like for as minimal effort that you are maximizing the opportunities that you've been given. Essentially, what you want to show is that you are grateful and that you're a team player and that you're also appreciating people. People love to feel important and they love to feel appreciated. So if you can send them a short message once you've had a phone call with them or a Teams call with them, saying how grateful you are and just maybe one key learning that you'll be taking away, people will remember you and make sure that they do support you when the time is right. The other thing is, even if they don't do any of these things, they'll remember you as someone who is a thoughtful employee. And that in and of itself will give you a halo effect, and you just don't know who you might come across. But with networking, it's all about consistency over intensity. So you want really quick, short messages that are memorable rather than asking for big favors that might end up causing more strain on the relationship that you have with these folks. So as ever, this channel is about practical advice. So I don't want you to just passively listen to this video. What I want you to do is have some takeaways that you're going to action to ensure that you maximize your chance of getting to interview. So how are we going to do that? The first step is finding 5 people on either a website or on LinkedIn, and you're going to get their first name, surname, and their email address or their LinkedIn inbox. Then I'd like you to send them a simple message asking them for a quick chat. We've already got the template from earlier, so just rewind and make a note of that and send them out that template. And the third is to have a conversation. Now it might be, and I've had it before, where 5 or 10 messages don't convert for you. Another easy way is to ask your university or within your network, a friend of a family member or an accountancy down the road, just trying to find someone within your network that is going to make time for you is far more important than cold messaging folks. So making sure that you book within this month a phone call with someone, whether that be over Teams, Google Meets, or good old-fashioned mobile phone conversations. Try and go in with those conversations with thoughtful messages. So what you're going to be thinking about, as we discussed earlier, is around whether it's work-life balance, whether it's about progression, whether that's about mentorship. Really ask questions that make you stand out, that you have really thought about the company, and say, you know, hey, I know that you work in this and this industry. What are the chances of us being able to get into oil and gas, say? So that you've shown that you've done research, that you're not using this as a piggyback exercise just to make the other person on the line do all of the work, that you're actually leveraging this time to sharpen up on your job search. Once you've had this conversation, then I want you to go back and reflect, which is key. What did you learn? What are the skills that they are looking for? What are the skills that you have, and how can you narrow that down? And then what you can do is spend the next 1 to 3 months narrowing down that skills gap, whether that's Excel skills that you might need to get or AWS qualification. There are a whole bunch of courses and lectures that are online that you can leverage to ensure that you're in the best possible position for interview. There are also pro bono work that you can do with charities and organizations like AWS that you can then put on your CV to showcase practical work experience. Essentially, everyone is always looking for practical experience. So if you can work with a startup or you can work on some pro bono work, what you can show is that you have real world experience in X, Y, and Z skill, so that you can showcase this in your CV so that hiring managers and HR professionals are able to see that you can deliver when you land the role. So if you do any of this homework, please do put in the comment section done with a little thumbs up. Or if you're feeling particularly brave, put down which of the steps you actually actioned, or if you have gone on to have conversations, what is it that you learned and how is it over the next 1 to 3 months are you going to be bridging that gap? So in summary, what we've learned is applying for roles online is necessary, but it isn't the most useful tool that you have for maximizing your chances of getting to interview and then landing a role. It is just a tool. So what we are trying to do is maximize our chances of being seen and being also known by the hiring managers and HR professionals so that we can efficiently navigate the job search. What we're trying to do is showcase our skills and experience before the application process even begins, so that when our application goes through, we're instantly recognized. I just want you to know that, especially within the UK and European markets, people are often hired through who they know. And that's why it's always said that your network is your net worth. So please do go out there, and as scary and as daunting as it may seem, try and create networking opportunities so that you're in the best possible light when applications do open to find and land your role. If you found this video useful, please do subscribe, because it allows me to create more content like this and help other job seekers like you try and find their dream role and help navigate these choppy and stormy waters out there. It's not easy, I know, from my own experiences, from family and friends, just hearing how difficult it is. I'm so passionate about making sure that people land their dream roles, but also ensure that they have the confidence to be able to navigate the job market on their own. There's only one of me to go around, so I'm not able to give the one-on-one coaching that I would love to. So I've created these free resources so that people can go here and have a bank of knowledge. I've always dreamed of demystifying this job market for loads of people, because I remember as a graduate, I found it super hard to navigate. So if you could drop me a comment with any questions that you might have, I always read every single comment and I will get back to you there, or even create a video for you if it's more useful that way. But as I say, please do share this so that we can reach more people and ensure that people are not alone in this job search. I know it can be super lonely and really sad when you get ghosted, etc. So I really want to be your companion and give you all of the relevant tools so that you can have a successful job search and feel really empowered through the entire process. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.